morning. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Sunrise Extra.
Friday Eve.
Friday
Eve.
Friday for Rod Hill. He's got the day off tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll not be here tomorrow announcing that to the world.
And the crowd goes wild. Do you remember way back when, 3 years ago almost now, in early 2018, no, it was actually early 2019, we started Sunrise Extra.
Did we?
Yes, it was early 2019, the anniversary coming up here, I believe it's February or March. Anyways, when we launched the show, we always talked about, it's live and unscripted. Join us for our unscripted after show.
Holy moly, is it unscripted?
Today, absolutely unscripted. You may notice at the top of the little blurb on Facebook, if you're watching us there,
literally wrote, there's a lot of ground to cover.
There's actually not a topic listed.
No.
All we said was a lot of ground to cover. And by ground, we mean 20 minutes of time, but we don't actually have topics to cover necessarily. You can direct the conversation. You can suggest topics. We threw out a lot today. Did we actually land on one?
No, we didn't. We didn't really like anything.
Let's just hit a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Well, you got to start with one.
It's a grab bag.
Should we start with Ben Affleck?
Potpourri.
What do you guys
what's
feel
Ben
like?
doing?
So Ben Affleck was on the Howard Stern show. You know Howard is very provocative, and he gets people to tell him things somehow.
Yes.
Why is that?
Anyway, so he went on the radio, and he, through a long interview, basically said like he became an alcoholic when he was married to Jennifer Garner because he felt trapped in the marriage, and he said if I would have stayed with her, I would still be an alcoholic and drinking. And so
If you spin that into a headline, which newspapers did, it sounds like Ben Affleck blames Jennifer Garner
and
for
everyone
his
was like, oh my God, what a jerk. You know, like how could he, she's literally like almost America's sweetheart now on Instagram and just a very cute, nice person.
A second and look at the TV every time she has one of those commercials that she's in, yes.
Oh, like City Card or whatever it is,
She's,
yeah.
what's
in your wallet? Yeah.
Yeah, what's in your wallet?
So anyway, if you read, like I did, the full interview, there's a lot of context that he gives of like, she is a great person. Like we just weren't meant to be married for that long or at all or whatever, and we have 3 great kids, and I really take them into account with everything I do, and I went to rehab and blah, blah, blah. But it just brings up the two questions, like how much do you, I guess it's like kiss and tell, but like tell intimate, hurtful details to the world about your marriage or your divorce or whatever, like your kids are gonna read that. And then also a lot of people who have been to AA or, you know, who are or were alcoholics know that the first rule of treatment is you have to own it, you know, and say you're responsible. And he almost kind of seemed to blame her.
Almost seemed. I did not see the Howard Stern interview, but what you said at the beginning, say it again. How did you describe it, what he said? You described it as, he said, I became an alcoholic during my marriage. Is that right? And if I would have stayed, I probably would have continued to be an alcoholic.
Yes.
Nowhere in those statements did I hear him say it's because of Jennifer Garner. He was talking about himself, and who knows, you know, as far as what he meant. But I think this is the problem with social media, right? People get the headline, and then people who have nothing to do with anything get up there and start spouting about, you know, all this, and it just is, it escalates. People are all ticked off. It's like, what do you have to be ticked off about? You don't know these people, you don't know all the details, you're just reacting, right? Can we have a little bit of space between the feeling and the reaction?
That
just
falls
a little bit.
into this huge tub where I say to people, why do you care?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well,
I mean, there are things you should care about. There are good topics on social media.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get you know just enough, right? Not you, but anybody, any of us.
Yeah.
And then we just go off. That's what the world is filled with online.
Yeah.
It's
Done.
true. It's funny to me because we mentioned this topic as a potential topic for today's Sunrise Extra show, and then
We're
we said,
gonna hit
let's not talk
several,
about that.
But I think it's interesting, you know, like we'll hit several of them.
The thing about the Howard Stern interviews, and I think Rodney said, how does he get people to give all that information out? Number one, he's got that long format that you just don't find anywhere else really.
He's very
now
good,
that podcasts have become popular, you are hearing those sort of interviews more and more often. But he was the originator of the 45-minute long, no commercial break interview.
Right.
And if you sit down with someone for that long, you know, things are going to come out below just the surface stuff.
But then he talks like we talk, right? I mean, he gets real, he asks direct questions, he swears. I mean, probably what most people do in their private lives. And so you start getting engaged in that and
You become very comfortable.
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Comfortability
Where is he
leads to
on
truth.
these days? I don't.
He still has a show on Sirius XM.
On the radio.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. Satellite radio.
He
which
was kind of the
somehow staying around.
original. He was the original big name when that satellite radio launched.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah,
They used him like sports uses Michael Jordan, for example. Yeah.
He drove subscriptions, but eventually, unfortunately for satellite radio, it became somewhat popular at the same time, like podcasts and downloads all became popular. Where
Yeah.
you don't really need a satellite radio anymore. You can easily, for free, get all that content.
Yeah.
Anyways, we digress to topic number 2.
Yeah.
Brenda, do you want to announce the topic?
Well, the other thing that we actually started talking about, because our producers came out here, because they were like, we had our executive producer and one of our line producers come out.
What are you guys talking about?
We started talking about people posting about their significant other
You brought it up.
online. And how much do you say, and is it, like, why can't you just say, for instance, happy birthday to your husband or wife or partner? Why do you have to post it?
Yeah.
Like, if you say it. And then
Yes.
one of the producers said, well, I got called out by my family because I didn't put it on Facebook. That was really
To
important
publicly
to them.
say happy birthday
Yeah.
or gushing about your spouse just for a nice post.
I'm not going to judge, but that seems a little bit different to me. I'll put it that way. I'll use the word different. For your family to be mad at you because you said happy birthday, but you didn't say it on social media. You only said it face to face.
It's weird.
So my sister and I are kind of on the same page with this, so maybe that's why I feel this way.
Okay, tell me.
I know some other people in my circle who feel the same way. We're just like, and I guess if you have a friend that you don't talk to very often, and that's your means of kind of reaching out or shouting out, and you say, happy birthday to my longtime friend so-and-so, miss seeing you, or something like that. I mean, that's fine. But if it's like your significant other, and you wake up with that person, and you can easily turn to them and say, happy birthday.
I have an analogy.
But instead, you go to social media and said, happy birthday to my sweetie. I love them. Greatest person ever. Miss you. Love you. Blah, blah, blah. Post. I'm thinking, why didn't you just tell them? Why did you post it? Why didn't you just go and tell them?
Is it the same as birthday, anniversary, Valentine's Day, when a partner sends a flower bouquet to their person's work versus just coming home with it or putting it on the dining room table for them to see? The point is, is to
show the world.
Show, like, hey, man, I sent her a bouquet of flowers. Like, I'm the hero, So they're getting credit, and the person receiving it gets the, oh yes, he's so wonderful. Oh yes,
Yeah, because that's
whatever.
With that.
Is it the same?
No,
I think
it's a little
the
different
same.
because you catch the person.
You're doing it publicly when you could have just brought the flowers home.
It's similar.
Yeah, I was going to say, but I think Drew and I agreed on this, but I would add that there are people that are sitting at their desk. They have literally the poster desk job, and they will actually enjoy those flowers more at their desk for hours and hours than if they were at home.
Just sitting at home.
I would throw that in.
No, that's what I was going to say. They're going to see those flowers probably more if they are at work than if they were at home.
It's just on steroids when it's online. And then, because everything, is so curated and filtered and everything else, we always put our best foot forward, right? So all the glowing, reviews about your spouse may be true in that moment, but I don't know. I honestly, when I see those, I appreciate them on one level, and I go on the other.
I love
level,
your honesty,
right?
Braxton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I look for posts, personally, I look for posts that are either going to, A, make me laugh or make me smile.
Okay.
I definitely don't want to find posts that make me cry or upset. That would be silly, right? So, like, those two things, you want to post your child's picture because it's so adorable. I get that, and that makes me smile in that moment, too. But it's just like it's the long text sometimes that go with the posting of you and your significant other.
Renee Robertson's weighing in, and I think this is a good point too. She said, I post a picture of my husband with his birthday breakfast because he's not on Facebook, but a lot of his friends are, and so they tell him happy birthday, or they'll send him a text. It's kind of a jogging of the memory, and he enjoys reading it.
That just happened to me the other day. So you make a good point there,
That's
Renee.
a good point.
But it's all on what you write. I mean, it's one thing to do that. It's another thing to go into this whole long deal about your so-called personal, I guess it's not anymore, but your so-called personal love affair with this person.
Right.
I don't need to read your love letters. I just don't.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Since when did love letters become
grouches.
public?
Yes.
When did that happen? In what year?
I think it's great, but
Right.
some things are better off in an envelope with a stamp on it.
Is your wife active on any kind of social media, Rod?
My wife is very active, yes.
On Facebook specifically?
Yes. Her Facebook page of our family life, not that my family life is not great, but it's not as great as the pictures.
Everyone's is like that, Rod.
It's like a Macy's catalog, you know what I mean?
It's like, I don't recognize any of this.
Yeah. We posted the picture of the tree going up in the house. We didn't post a picture of the argument in the car about how much we paid for it, right?
Right. Oh, that's funny.
Okay,
That's
should we
funny.
topic switch? This is kind of fun. I kind of like
it
this.
is. I
We
like
got
it.
another topic.
boy.
Switch to it.
I have an interesting one, and
Wait, he
it
hasn't
led
done
to.
it. He hasn't done it. Go ahead.
Do you have a topic?
We can't talk about sports because nobody likes to talk about
Nobody's
sports
talking
on
about
this. So moving on.
I'm going to go emojis because I think it's interesting.
Oh, geez.
Emojis.
It's okay.
Here we go.
Oh,
Yes.
geez.
Okay, so you know when you're on your phone and you have the emojis like thumbs up or like
Yeah, that's become
biceps
big
or
also.
your
All that
faces or whatever. And at first it started with everyone was yellow like little Lego character colors. And now there's skin tones. You know, if you hold down an emoji, up pops a little array of, from white to black.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, all right.
You should try it. Anyway, or not. Because, so here is a debate that started out as super stupid / silly.
say anything
And
about this
then
emoji.
I was actually asking my husband about it, and I think you asked Mia about it. And they both, interestingly enough, had the same take.
Yes.
And it changed what I do. So Drew and I have been working out, like we send each other pictures of our completed, like he does the Peloton, I do the mirror, and it keeps
Before
us
you
kind
go
of
any
accountable
further,
and it's fun.
could I get
so
in
I
trouble for
sent
this?
him, no,
Okay.
I don't think
Right.
so. It started with me. So I sent him my workout for the day, and then I did a little like bicep arm emoji. My bicep arm emoji skin
Shade.
color
Shade, yeah.
was 3 in from left.
Okay.
Middle
I think it
middle
was,
tan tone.
no, I think it was next to last.
No, it was not.
It seemed
no,
on my
it's
phone
not.
the next to last
no,
shade.
it's not.
Anyways, we have this.
It was brown, so
The next
continue.
day
Yes.
at work,
Yes.
during one of our mini lulls in working, Drew said, I have a question for you.
Now you had to.
No, just let her finish.
No,
This is good.
I'm going to get in trouble, Braxton.
The one I used was middle.
Okay.
That's next to last.
I swear to you that.
No.
No, I'm not going to use that
Okay.
one.
She's correct.
Regardless, all I was doing was joking with you, so it doesn't
I
matter
know.
what shade.
He was like, here's a Seinfeld question. Like, what color is too, can you choose
Well, I definitely called
an
you up
off,
yours.
I don't
said,
remember
Did
how
you
you
go
said
too dark with your emoji
too dark
shade?
with my
That's what I
emoji?
said.
And I was like, oh, did I? And so I went, and then I'm like, is this like a thing, you know? And so then we kind of started joking about it. I'm like, this is stupid, but it's actually like an interesting thing, like a question. And so I was telling Dave, my husband at home, like, yeah, Drew was giving me crap about my emoji color. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I've heard of some people, he's like, you just go yellow. You go back to yellow. Everyone's yellow. And I was like, actually, that's pretty good.
And
way
I
to go.
can't remember the reason why, but my wife said when I mentioned it to her what happened, and again, I was just joking with you, but I did
know.
think to myself, you know what, this emoji does not match. I mean, I said maybe in the summertime when you're like working that full
I
tan.
get tan.
But right now you should be down a few levels with me
I
on that
needed
very
to
pale
downgrade
bicep.
my emoji.
But
So I
Mia
did.
said she's changed hers too because my wife, and I couldn't remember exactly why, but it had something to do with the people she works with. And she could almost sense like the sensitivities.
Sensitivity.
And she was like, I'm going back to the default
Yeah,
yellow.
I get it.
As silly
Have you
as I
guys
think-
ever thought of
Oh,
that
gosh.
before?
As silly as
I
I
don't do
think
that.
life is, we have these conversations, I realize life's even sillier than I think it is.
Yes, it
My point is, how silly is this?
Well,
Can I just say this
Please.
as the only brown person sitting
yes,
up here?
please. Brenda B.
Only
Help
brown.
us.
So, A, that would never cross my mind if you sent any kind of emoji. And think about all the decades, years, where there was nothing but white. Right?
Right.
I played with white dolls. I mean, it was
Yeah.
little black girls played with white dolls, and nobody batted an eye.
Right.
And so now there is more awareness of
Band-Aids
it.
come in all kinds of skin shades now.
So I
and
mean,
like,
I don't think it's a thing. It's like, why is it weird for you or you or you to use a dark emoji, but it's not weird for me to use a light emoji?
Right.
I just feel like it's what we're used to.
Yeah.
And white is the default, right? It is
I
the
saw
default.
some post the other day on Facebook, and it was like a diagram of like a woman's, it was almost like a health chart basically, and it was a pregnant woman, and it showed like the inside, you know, the baby growing or whatever with the tubes and all that stuff. And it was from a lady, and she said, this is the first time I've ever seen a black fetus, like diagram. They're always white. And so it was a black woman posting about this. She's like, my whole life, you see in health class, you know, the stages of pregnancy and a baby in a, you know, drawing of a mom's tummy.
Always a Caucasian
It's
baby.
always white, which, you know,
Right.
I never thought about.
Yeah.
And then I saw this picture, and I didn't even really, it didn't register when I saw it, but then I was reading her post. She's like, this is the first time I've ever seen it. I'm like, oh, that is wild.
That is so true. I mean,
Yeah.
and I've got to say, this is like, it's kind of crazy, but I grew up in Oregon, right? Predominantly
Very
white
white,
Oregon.
yes.
Yeah.
I was 29 years old. I walked in when I was pregnant with Zach. So he was born in '93. I walked into Northwest Portland to my obstetrician. She was new. And I was like, oh my God, the OBGYN is black. I had never had a black doctor.
Wow,
Ever.
wow, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to your point, it's interesting.
So it is. It's like, you know, color matters, representation matters, and I don't want to represent myself
Incorrectly.
incorrectly. And
Well,
you
it's not
were,
just-
you know, it was an interesting thing to be
Yeah, but
brought up.
I
I know,
It
it
was
is
not-
silly.
If you guys
Emoji.
think
He
that this was
teasing
actually a
with me.
serious conversation, what we try to do
It was not.
we try to come up with
But it
Seinfeld-esque.
raised, I mean, it is
It was a
like,
Seinfeld-esque script.
Yeah,
I said this could be a Seinfeld topic. You're not using the right emoji color. But I just looked up, just out of curiosity. I just went in there. There's 6 choices now. So that's you know, the first time I know, and you didn't even know you could do this. But the first time I realized
I'm
that
happy not knowing that I can't
you're
do
a better
that.
man for it. The first time I realized, geez, if I hold down that thumbs up, it actually gives me choices on
Yeah,
shade.
you
I thought
hold
to myself,
any person,
which one should I did
it'll
think for a
bring
moment,
up
which one
those,
do I
and then
pick
you
here?
can choose.
Like, you know what I mean? It's so specific to me, it's funny. That they would give you
Yes.
that many choices on skin tone. It's no law. It's not even
Okay, I
white or
love
black.
Sharon. I'm going to read yours. She says, I've got an adopted daughter and I use all colored emojis as I don't think the different colors are to represent anyone. So I use all colors. If I'm thinking of my daughter at the time, I may use a darker brown emoji or just to represent anyone. So she's like, do what you want.
Well, she just said it herself. When she thinks about her darker colored daughter, she uses the darker emoji.
She may, but then she may use the others as well.
Yeah. All right.
That's how I took that.
all right.
Can I bounce out of the conversation
next
real quick?
topic?
I just want to bring this up. So I just learned moments ago that Stanford Walker, longtime Sunrise Extra viewer, apparently doesn't watch our Sunrise newscast, which is
Newscast.
fine,
Yep.
which is fine. But I realize this because Stanford says, where is the snow? And if he had watched our Sunrise newscast, he would have known that we forecasted rain unless you're up above 1,000 feet.
So you don't know that he
So
doesn't.
Stanford, we invite you to watch our Sunrise
Stanford,
newscast.
you're up at Odark 100 every day.
Yeah,
Don't
turn
you
us
get up at
on.
like
Invite you
4
to watch.
a.m.? You
Wait,
should.
we're assuming things now. He didn't say he doesn't watch. You're just assuming because he missed that one tidbit of information in today's show.
Well, we know he doesn't pay attention, so it's either one or
Maybe he
the
missed
two.
that one section. It's a
Jeez,
2-hour
Rod,
long show.
y'all.
Stanford, I think you might be
Where
a viewer.
is the snow? That's a reference to a forecast, which means if he was watching Sunrise, the TV show, he didn't see my weather. Or if he did see my weather, he didn't pay attention.
I'm saying he could have been
Sorry,
watching this morning from 5:50 to 6:01 and not
what
heard
camera
a
is
stitch
this?
of weather.
Government camp?
Oh, that's fair. I
Timberline.
should be precise. He didn't watch my forecast. You're
There's the
correct.
snow,
I would be
Stanford.
precise.
I'm not making
I
an
will be
assumption when I say
precise.
Willie Huey does not watch Sunrise, the TV show, because he's actually told me I don't watch your TV show. But he only catches us here on
You're
Sunrise
correct.
Extra.
Stanford may have gone to the restroom when I was
Yep.
doing my work.
Yeah. Yes.
He says he's busy doing yoga and meditation till 7 a.m. Good on
Okay.
you, man.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Any other topics? Topics all around.
I got nothing.
No?
Now I was just looking to see real quickly if I wanted to add one more comment from one of our viewers here. Oh yeah, Lucy. She said she's noticed this. You now have options even with the Santa emoji. They now give you the options from the Santa shade.
oh, that's
And what she
kinda
goes, she
fun.
loves that. Love that they have the options for Santa skin tones. It's about time,
Yeah.
she says.
I did buy I used to have a one. I mean, I still have it, but when I was single, it was out all the time, and now it's only
What are
comes
you?
out. Santas, you know, the ceramic Santas. Big collection.
Okay.
Yep.
And
You, as a single
Probably
man, had a large
some-
collection of ceramic Santas?
that's correct. Very nice. They're actually collectibles. You can invest a lot of money in these things.
Okay.
Anyway, the point
on.
is, it hit me maybe 15 years ago that I had all white Santas, and then I started going around. So and then I found an Asian Santa, and I found an African American Santa, and I found a Mexican Santa to mix into my collection.
Yeah.
Because it didn't seem right.
Oh my gosh, can I just tell one quick funny story? So I was born in Los Angeles. My parents are an interracial couple, mom white, dad black. So we lived in LA in a predominantly black area. So I would go around, you know, little brown girl with my white mom. And it was Christmas time, and I don't remember this at all because I was very, very small, but old enough to talk. And we were somewhere coming out, and there was a black Santa. And I was so aghast that I literally, like, exclaimed, Black Santa! And my mom was like, dear God, no. Stop!
Yeah.
And I don't remember anything else, but she said I felt like I was going to get flushed because it was like
Did she say,
not
like,
odd
did
to
she
the
say
people
anything,
down
or-
there,
Sure.
no.
Yeah.
But it was to me because that was the representation. It was the night before Christmas, and whatever I had seen as a 3-year-old, it was always so white.
Same with Jesus. Jesus
But
always
my
white
mom
in
was
all the
like, oh
books.
dear God.
I have a crazy story about like that. I think you can do it in 30 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
My wife's family, they came across the Oregon Trail many, many years ago. They have a family reunion every year. Next year will be the 132nd family reunion for the Stevens
Wow.
family, based out there in Estacada. So in 1990, it was the 100th Stevens family reunion. And National Geographic came out to the family property to do a story on this family that came across the trail and celebrating 100 years of getting together every year. My wife's there. At that point, she's 10 years old. They were going to put her in a picture, and they said, could you run and get your mom? Her mom did not come across the trail like her dad did. Her mom is Indonesian Dutch. Looks very Asian. Looks like she's from Indonesia. And she went and got her mom, and I don't know how they reacted to this exactly on the spot, but ultimately, it was not my mother-in-law in that picture with my wife. They was like, oh, we'll get we just want the white-looking people that came across the trail in that picture, yes.
Yeah.
They were, she basically said,
Well.
my mother-in-law tells the story because my wife was only 10, but she says they looked very confused when she came back with Mia.
Huh.
That's your mom? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Next?
Next.
That's terrible.
That's not what we asked for in central casting.
I gotta run. 7:26.
We all have to run, Rod. Yeah. Good night.